Time for my Week 4 NFL picks and predictions. You're watching the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and man, last week was rough. I probably had one of my worst weeks of picks in my lifetime, but it's okay. Because right after that week, I went down to one of my research labs here at Vanderbilt University, and I ran a bunch of statistical and research and data analysis to try to figure out how to pick games. And guess what? I've learned a lot over the last couple days, and I'm going to rectify things. Basically, here's what I concluded, and then we'll get to the picks. You know, last week the consensus did pretty freaking well, okay? If you would have picked who everyone else was picking and did not stray away from the consensus, you would have went 9-7. And last week that would have been a damn good record. If you want to do well, you kind of have to go with the consensus. But knowing when to have the occasional pick away from the consensus. Now, this is a boring thing. Oh, it is so boring. And I honestly, my heart doesn't want to do it because I like being creative. I like thinking outside of the box. But man, if you want to do well in picks, sometimes that's just what you got to do. So I'm going to embrace the consensus a little bit more, embrace the favorites a little bit more, and then hopefully we will do better. Let's look at the SFP Picks Challenge. Right now, we have the Dark Knight back on top with a total of 33 points. He went 9-7 last week. We have Andrew 59763 in second place. We have Packer Fan, a bunch of numbers in second place as well. Same goes with Bronco J. Same goes with ESPN, a bunch of numbers. Cup of Joe 91. And then you have a bunch of people tied for seventh place right now. So still not a lot of separation at the top, allowing me to just slide on in there. If I can bring together a couple of strong weeks, let's get to the picks. We start with a Thursday night football game, the Miami Dolphins at the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals are 1-2, okay? They lost last week to Denver. They lost week 2 to the Steelers. It's okay. Those are playoff teams. I think everyone can agree with that. Nothing wrong with that. They're hosting the Dolphins, and Andy Dalton in primetime games stinks. I mean, that's just the damn truth. He's played 12 primetime games. Almost every single one of them has not been very good, but the Bengals are a better team than the Dolphins right now, and I think this will end up being closer than some people think it is and a little bit low scoring, but I expect the Bengals to pull it out in the end. We move on to the Sunday games. We have a London game, early 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, this game is in London. I don't know why the Jaguars volunteer home games. I think that any team that does that, you're an idiot. I mean, honestly, it's just so stupid, especially for them. They need this game to be in Jacksonville. They need a win. You know, right now we have 4 0-4 teams. We have the Jags, we have the Saints, we have the Browns, and we have the Bears, okay? One of these teams is going to win this week, okay? So I'm telling you that right now, one of these teams is going to win this week. The question is, which one? Is it this one? No. Yeah, right now the Colts, they're starting to get some momentum back. I think they're going to win the next 3 or maybe even 4 games. I really think they're going to start winning some games and get back into the playoff mix. I think the Jaguars, they don't know how to win right now. You know, they played pretty close games. You know, week 1, week 3, they've been close, but they don't know how to win games. Blake Bortles still throws crucial interceptions, and now this Colts defense is getting healthy. Henry Anderson, the defensive end, is getting healthy. Vontae Davis, the cornerback, getting healthy. They're getting healthy. They're getting better. Darius Butler, Patrick Robinson, they may play this week. So I like the Colts, man. They're just a better team, and I don't think it's going to be very close. We move on to the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are surprising 2-1, or at least surprising to me. Okay, they've won 2 straight. Both were on the road. Very impressive victories there. Not back in Atlanta. Panthers have lost 2 games. They lost to the Denver Broncos, and they lost to the Minnesota Vikings. But again, I think we can all agree those are playoff teams. There is nothing wrong with losing to playoff teams. Now, it does concern you when the Panthers go to the playoffs whether or not they can beat those teams, but for now, it's not a big concern. They're still one of the better teams in the NFL. They're going to go to Atlanta, and they're going to win. They're desperate for a win. Atlanta would be a little too high on themselves. I like the Panthers to win in Atlanta. We move on to the Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. And, you know, this appears to be an easy pick, okay? The Patriots have proven They can win games without Brady, so just pick the Patriots and that's it. And maybe we're right. I will pick the Patriots, but I'm not as convinced as everyone else is. I'll just say that right now. But again, you just have to pick the Patriots right now. They're just playing great without Tom Brady. The Bills still look like they have some fight left in them, so just look out for that. We move on to the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. This is a divisional game, okay? And with divisional games, with family business, as Louis T would say, you never quite really know what's going to happen. Even though the Bears stink, okay? And they stink. They look like a 3-13 team, okay? There's a 3 there, okay? There's 3 wins there in 3-13. And if they're going to win a divisional game, this is going to be it. The Lions are the 3rd team in the NFC North to me. So if they're going to win a game in the NFC North, it's going to be when they host the Detroit Lions. But I just don't have the balls to pick it. You know, right now, John Fox is non-committal when it comes to Jay Cutler. He says if Jay Cutler is healthy, I'm not sure I'm starting him. Start Jay Cutler, okay? Jay Cutler, he can win you this game. Jay Cutler can win you this game. Throw the ball up to Alshon Jeffrey. Right now, the Lions' defense isn't playing great. They're letting up a lot of rushing yards and what have you. Jordan Howard can have a good game. I think if Jay Cutler is the starting quarterback, the Bears can really win this game, but right now, I trust the Lions to end and close this football game more than the Bears. So I'm going to pick the Lions. But again, don't be so quick to judge this one. We move on to the Cleveland Browns at the Washington Redskins. Redskins got a huge W last week, and hopefully they don't end up snoozing in this week because the Browns have been proving the last couple weeks, and they can finish close to you even when they're not, even when you're not expecting them to, even when they're not expecting themselves to. So look out at the Redskins winning this game, but Hugh Jackson is coaching up this team well. We move on to the Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans. And even though I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, I think this is one of the more rock solid. In fact, I think this is literally the most rock solid W on the schedule. The Texans will defeat the Tennessee Titans. I don't have any doubt in my mind about this. The Texans are a better team. They've blown out the Tennessee Titans their last 4 meetings. The Titans cannot score. They cannot put up points on the scoreboard right now. If you score 17 points, congratulations, you have defeated the Tennessee Titans, because right now the Titans cannot score 17 points. This is an easy W. This is a bounce back win for the Houston Texans, and I'm a damn Tennessee Titans fan. We move on to the Oakland Raiders at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens keep proving me wrong, okay? You know, I had them being, 7-9 going into the season. Now, actually, the first 2 weeks, I did pick the Ravens to win, but last week I picked the Jaguars to beat the Ravens. So I've actually been pretty right with my Ravens predictions thus far, 2-1. But with that in mind, I had them losing, man. I'm not buying this 3-0 start. They've all been close games, and they just don't look that impressive to me. You know, they had to come back against Cleveland, and I'm not buying the Ravens right now. I am buying the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a good football team, a playoff team, so I like the Raiders to go on the road, get bounce-back road wins. If the Falcons can do it, I think the Raiders can do it as well. We move on to the Seattle Seahawks at the New York Jets. I've stayed with the consensus. All my picks thus far have been with the consensus. But this is where I stray away a little bit. I like the Jets to upset the Seattle Seahawks. The formula to beat the Seahawks, and the Rams showed us, have a dominant defensive line, slow down their run game, and hope Russell Wilson is banged up and get him down. I think this is something the New York Jets can do to an absolute incredible degree. I mean, that's what the Jets do. The Jets are, I know last week was disastrous, okay? You know, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 6 interceptions, horrible performance, whatnot. But don't let that skew your perception too much. We saw them blow out the Buffalo Bills for the most part. We saw them be very competitive with the Cincinnati Bengals. This is still a decent football team. And Seattle, they can lose the occasional game on the road when they're sleeping, especially all the way across country. We've seen them lose games like this before. So I like the New York Jets to upset the Seahawks in a low-scoring bout. You just have to hope that Ryan Fitzpatrick can go back to not throwing the football to the other team, okay? You have Brandon Marshall, you have Eric Decker, you have Quincy Enunwa, you have Jalen Marshall, you have Bilal Powell, you have Matt Forte. Stop throwing to the other football team, please. Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they can get this win. I have them getting this win. Denver Broncos at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, I'm hearing some Bucs fans and some other idiots, quite honestly, saying that, you know, Jameis Winston, oh, I'm concerned about Jameis Winston. Look, right now he has 6 interceptions, okay? That's too much. I think he has a fumble or 2. That's too much as well. However, dude, who's leading the NFL in passing touchdowns? It's Jameis Winston. Who's, you know, top 5 in passing yards? It's Jameis Winston. If Jameis Winston finishes this year with 4,900 passing yards, 41 passing touchdowns, and, you know, maybe 23 interceptions, that's a Brett Favre stat line. And if you have Brett Favre, hey, that's a pretty good thing to have, okay? He's not the best, but damn it, he's good. So if Jameis Winston, that's what he's on pace for right now. 41 touchdowns. He's on pace for 41 passing touchdowns. I still have faith in Jameis Winston, okay? No problems there. But right now, the defense is not good. You let up 37 points to the LA Rams, who couldn't score a point against the San Francisco 49ers, who only scored 9 points against the Seattle Seahawks. The Bucs defense stinks, and you wonder more and more why they ever fired Lovie Smith. I mean, you guys blame Lovie Smith, like, oh, Lovie Smith is the reason why our defense stinks. You bring in Mike Smith as your defensive coordinator, you guys can't win games. So why'd you fire Lovie Smith, you idiots? You should have kept the way things were. Lovie as your head coach, let him rebuild this defense. Having Jay Cutler as your offensive coordinator, no one was going to hire him. I mean, maybe, but I don't think anyone was. And then just staying packed, letting your team grow accordingly. Big mistake there. I think it's getting proven. But anyway, Denver will win this game. You know, Denver's playing great right now, and, you know, this would be a huge win. If the Bucs can pull this one out, this is a huge win. They're back, you know, on track for the playoffs. They're competing for the NFC South. But I just don't see it. The Bucs just do not look ready yet. I think they're going to have a late season surge. But for right now, early, I think they're going to struggle. They lose to the Broncos. We move on to the Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 49ers. And I really wanted to pick the San Francisco 49ers. I really did. I felt, hey, you know what? Carlos Hyde can run all over the Cowboys defense. And Dez Bryant may not play. But, man, when I sat down and I looked at Blaine Gabbert's passing statistics and, you know, their receiving statistics right now, these guys can't throw the football, okay? Their passing offense is nowhere near where it should be right now. And I just can't pick a team that can't throw the football vertically down the field at all. While the Cowboys can do that a little bit. And also, in the fourth quarter, who do I trust more to win the game? Surprisingly, it's the rookies, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. So, I like the Cowboys to win this game, but I like it to be a close game. And look out, because the 49ers may upset if the Cowboys are sleeping. And this is something the Cowboys love to do. They love to sleep and play down to their competition. Look out for that. We move on to the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals lost a huge game at Buffalo. I talked earlier about the Panthers and why you shouldn't panic. I talked last week about the Packers and why you shouldn't panic. I talked about the Bengals in this video and why you shouldn't panic, because they lost to playoff teams. Like, they lost to the Broncos and the Vikings, okay? Those are playoff teams. The Cardinals lost to the Bills last week. That is concerning, especially if you're me and you pick them to win the damn Super Bowl. However, I do like the Cardinals to win this game. I think they showed in week 2 when they're back in Arizona and they're pissed after a loss. They can absolutely explode. I expect a little bit of an explosion from this Cardinals team and for them to get a huge W, a bounce back W. But overall, I'm concerned when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals. We move on to the New Orleans Saints at the San Diego Chargers, and I am now going to go against the consensus once again. I like the Saints to win this game in San Diego. I talked about it earlier in the video. We have 4 0-3 teams. We have the Saints, we have the Jags, we have the Bears, we have the someone else I can't remember, okay? one of these teams is going to win. I think I said the Browns or whatever. Anyway, one of these teams is going to win a game this week. Okay, one of them, or maybe two of them. Okay, I think the Saints are the team. They're still, their defense stinks. We get it. But think about it. Of all the 0-3 teams, who has the lowest point differential? It's the New Orleans Saints. They only have a point differential of minus 17 right now. They lost by 1 point in week 1, lost by 3 points in week 2, and then week 3 they lost by 13. That was the widest margin. They're not that bad. They're pretty bad, but they're not that bad. And at San Diego, where San Diego's having some coaching issues right now and some uncertainty, and, they're fine, they're decent, but they're not great. I think the Saints are desperate. I think Drew Brees is pissed. Going back to San Diego, he wants to pull this team, bring them to a victory that they so severely need. They're going to run the football a little bit, control the clock a little bit, and get a huge win. I like the Saints to go 1-3 winning in San Diego. We move on to the Kansas City Chiefs at the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm going back with the consensus. I like the Steelers to win this game. Steelers right now, they lost horribly last week to the Philadelphia Eagles. And that I don't think is a playoff team, but maybe they will be, okay? Because right now they look like it. So we'll see. With that in mind, they're going to bounce back, okay? Mike Tomlin at home, going to bounce back. Chiefs, not been that impressive to me. They won last week more because of their defense and their, horrible play of Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't think they've been that impressive. I think, they came back week 1, that was nice, but why were you down by such a large margin? I like the Steelers to win this one pretty easily on Sunday Night Football. We move on to Monday Night Football. New York Giants at the Minnesota Vikings, and Vikings fans, hello! You guys hate me because I picked the Vikings to lose every week, and they've proven me wrong every week. So I have a decision to make because for some reason, despite all of my, data analysis that I did this week, I think the Giants can win this game. Eli Manning, he has these games where you don't expect him to win, at Green Bay or at New England or hosting New England or hosting Green Bay over the years, where this guy pulls out some huge upsets, man. Especially after last week, he wants to show up in this game. And the Vikings, they look very good. But something to me isn't right quite yet. This idea of we don't have a run game, we don't have a very good passing game, but we play great defense. Something's a little bit faulty, but I would be foolish and I would be stubborn if I did not pick the Vikings to win this game. So I will pick the Vikings to win this game. But watch as I finally pick the Minnesota Vikings. Watch as the New York Giants prove me wrong and defeat the Minnesota Vikings. After which I will be completely perplexed and shocked because I don't know what to do after that. So we will see. Let's move on to our guarantees of the week. And they haven't been guaranteed lately. But I'm sticking with the name. And I like these picks this week that I picked out. So let's start with the Houston Texans. Again, I like them to beat the Titans. Right now they're favored by 5.5 points. I don't care. They're going to beat this margin. I think they're going to win by a touchdown or 2. Probably 2. I like the Texans minus 5.5. We move on to the Colts minus 2.5. This is basically a pick'em game. Colts to me way better than the Jaguars. They're, trending up. Jaguars don't know how to win games. Jags will win. It's in London too. I mean, come on. Give me the Colts to win this game. Broncos minus 3. Again, maybe the Bucs can get a huge win. I don't think that they're ready. I think Trevor Siemian will have success against this bad Bucs defense right now. Broncos minus 3. Raiders plus 3.5. I like the Raiders to win outright. Now you're telling me you're giving me 3.5 points? Oh, give me that all day because even if the Raiders lose, it'll probably only be by 3 points. So I get 3.5. Give me the Raiders. And then finally, another pick, a fifth pick, Pittsburgh -5.5. Again, I really like Pittsburgh to bounce back at home. Le'Veon Bell back in action. I like the Pittsburgh -5.5. So there you go. Those are my NFL Week 4 picks and predictions. I feel good about this. I strayed away from the consensus a little bit, but I think I did it wisely. I like my guarantees this week, so hopefully we can get back on track and I can start climbing up the SFE Picks Challenge leaderboard, and I get to prove my worth in terms of picking games here on YouTube, because right now it's an internal struggle and an external struggle that I'm going through right now. So with that in mind, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, and most importantly to subscribe. What are your predictions? Comment down below. I want to know. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.